Hello. Today, I will be walking you through the rising ninth grade registration process for Windsor Knolls students who will be coming to Urbana High School next year. My name is Mr. Walton, and I'm one of the counselors. So we're going to step by step go through how to access your registration sheet, maybe some materials that might be helpful for you as you think about picking classes, and also sort of walk through a sample registration sheet so that you know what you're doing when you get in there and what you need to take. So the very first step that we're going to do is we're going to navigate up to the area where you put in the URL, and you are going to type in your school's Naviance page. And that is going to be Windsor KM. And that will take you into Family Connection. And what I'm going to do is I am going to log in with the fake information that I have put in for our student that we're going to be using, a fake student, but who's going to be a sample student for you. When you got here, you would obviously put in your information. What you can do is if you forgot your password, you can click this area down here as well. And what will happen is if you have an email on file, you will get a reset link to it. If that doesn't happen or you forget your information, you're probably going to want to talk to your counselor at Windsor Knolls to get that info. So I'm going to go ahead and log in. And so I'm in there. You might want to hit save password so that you never forget it again on your home computer. In this case, I'm going to hit no because I use the computer for a lot of different things and I want to make sure that one doesn't save over the other. But in your case, you might want to hit save password. So I'm going to hit nope, and it takes me to this screen right here. And what we're going to do is you will see a video down here come Monday. We're filming this video right now, and we're going to put the video down here. So this is probably where you're accessing this video right now, but it is linked to YouTube as well, so you can access it there. So that will look a little different when you come to the home page. You'll see the video there. One thing to be aware of is in the document library over here on the right. If you click on that, it does say 2016, but it does mean 2017, so you don't need to worry. You'll see all of our registration information for the various departments. So you can just hit view, and that'll give you some additional information on a variety of classes in each of the departments. So to go back from that, you can hit home. And what you'll do is you'll start with the ninth grade registration sheet right here. So go ahead and click on it. It will take you into this page, and you will hit complete a survey, and you will see your registration page. Now what's going to happen is I'm going to walk you through it as if you were going to do it and submit it right as we're going through it. Now, if it ends up being a situation where you start it but don't finish it, or you want somebody else to review it, there is the ability to save and return to it later. And what I'll do at the end of the video is I'll show you where your survey will be archived. So we're going to start. We're going to pick our student's name is going to be Joe Urbana right here. So you're going to put in your name. You're going to put in an email address or a phone number that is linked for you so we can reach out to you with any questions. So we're going to just say Joe Urbana has a Gmail account. And his phone number is going to be, let's do area code as well. And we'll just put that in, and that will be the phone number. You don't have to put both, but if you have both, go for it. If not, go ahead and just put one or the other, but something has to be in there. There's a red star, so that means that it has to be filled out. Now in this area, you're going to put the name of an adult with whom you talked about your course selection. So that can be a parent, both parents, a guardian, a grandparent, just somebody who we would be able to look in eSchool where we find out the contact information, and somebody who would be a legal parent or guardian. So we're going to say that Joe Urbana talked about it with his mom, Jane Urbana, and that is going to be who's going to be the parent who's in there. And that basically constitutes your signature for the registration sheet. So now we go down, and it is required that every ninth grader pick an English class. And what's going to happen is you should have a paper that's in your hand right now that gives you both an English and a math recommendation. So depending on what your choice is, you may have English 9 Honors, English 9 or English 9 Merit. It's the same class. They're phasing out the term merit, but that is sort of the general education class. And then some folks may have Reading, Writing Workshop, and English 9. And one thing to keep in mind here is that that class counts as 2 different credits. So even though it's one check, it counts as 2 classes. So if you were to pick English 9 Honors or English 9 Merit, that would count as 1 choice. If you were to pick this one, Reading, Writing Workshop, and English 9, it counts as 2 credits. So our student, let's say for example, they are going to pick this English 9. Maybe English isn't their favorite subject in the world, so, and that's what they're recommended for. So that will take care of our first choice. Now, ultimately, our goal is going to be to pick 8 classes with 2 alternates or backups. So we're going to go through and check, and we're going to make sure that we have check marks that equal 8 classes. Now, it could be 8 check marks if all of them are single classes, or it could be 6 or 7 depending on if you have full year classes. So next, we're going to go into government. And the highest level government is AP Government. It is a very rigorous class for those that both love social studies and are willing to do independent reading and keep up with it. That is going to be the choice for you. Government Honors is a rigorous class. It's an honors level class, but doesn't maybe have as much of the independent reading. And then the standard government is the same content covered in the government honors class, but with a few more examples and a little bit more time to work on stuff in class. So our student, we're going to continue on this track with just the regular government class for them. So now you can select up to 2 science classes. Now, one of the first things to know is that chemistry honors is listed here, but in order to take chemistry honors, you must have algebra-based physics first. That's why you can see the must double up with algebra-based physics. So if you decided you wanted to double up and take chemistry, make sure that you pick both of these classes like that. Now, for anybody who doesn't want to double up, you can ignore chemistry honors. Your choices are going to be PES honors, that stands for Physical Earth Science honors, or PES, the standard level. Honors would be a little bit of a focus on astronomy, a little bit of a focus on earth science, and once again, the difference between honors and merit is not content, just the amount of time given in class and the amount of independent reading. For those that want to go in a different direction, maybe you're a little bit more math oriented, you can pick algebra-based physics instead. So to recap again, you're going to have everybody's going to have to pick either PES honors, PES, the standard level, or algebra-based physics. For those that really love their science, you can do the combo of algebra-based physics and chemistry honors, but you certainly do not have to. So you can make your choice. I'm going to say that my student may not be an English social studies person, but they are a science person, so they are going to take algebra-based physics. And notice it says prerequisite algebra 1. That means in order to take algebra-based physics, you have to have already taken algebra 1. So if you have not taken algebra 1 already, you're going to have to pick PES honors or PES. Okay? So next we're going to go to a math course, and some of you may have already gotten a recommendation next to you. In fact, most of you should. And it will recommend either Connections to Algebra, Algebra 1 18-week, Algebra 1 year-long. You'll see it's Algebra 1A and Algebra 1B, and that counts as 2 classes, or Geometry Honors. And so what you can do is, at the very least, you have to pick one of those classes. So in my student's case, I'm going to say that they're picking the Algebra 1 year-long class. And remember, that counts as 2 classes, so when I count back, I've got 1, 2, and now 3, 4, because that counts as 2 separate ones. Now, if you pick geometry or you pick algebra 1 or connections, you're good there. The other thing you can do, and you certainly don't need to, but if you are really math inclined and you love math and you've got your sights set on AP Calculus down the road, you can do what's called double up in math. And that means you could pick, for example, Algebra 1 and Geometry, or Geometry and Algebra 2. And you can pick both of them. Just remember to count both of them as classes. Now, you can't take more than 2 maths. Not that I think anybody would want to, but you can't take more than 2 maths. So if you double up, just make sure that you're counting both the checks and only picking 2. And once again, I want to remind you, you do not need to double up. That is a choice that you can make. So we've got 1, 2, and then, because this counts as 2 classes, 3, 4 classes right here. So now we go down into some graduation requirements that you can or cannot choose to take in your freshman year. So you've got, one of the things you'll need in high school is a tech ed requirement. You can meet it through either Foundations of Technology or Foundations of Computer Science. Another one you'll need to take in high school is the combination of health and fitness. So you'll see that we have the one in school here, or the virtual one. I'll get back to that in a second. And then fine art. So you need to take a level 1 of a fine art class. And you can see there's a whole bunch of them down here that would count for it. So you can pick any of those. We'll go back up and pick stuff. You also can select to continue with or start a world language. So you can see we've got levels of Spanish, French, Latin, and German. And once again, just like math, you can choose to double up on a world language if you really are interested in taking language. The other thing you can do is if you feel like you could benefit from a refresher in the level of language you're taking right now, you can choose to retake that language again in your freshman year, either by itself or that and then the next language that's after it. And then the bottom is just the general electives that are just courses of interest that, while they don't formally meet a graduation requirement, can certainly be selected as well. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to kind of do a hybrid. I'm going to do a couple different things. Please don't view this as what you have to do. You can choose anything from category 8, 9, 10, or 11 or 12, as long as the total number of classes equals 8 when you count back. So I'm going to kind of give a little bit equal to everything. So I'm going to maybe pick health and fitness, that combination. So that actually counts as one class. I know it seems with two different numbers it would count as two, but that actually counts as one class. So that's going to be my 5th class right there, the combo of those. And maybe I'm artistically inclined and I'm going to pick, I want to learn piano. So I'm going to pick that. So that'll be number 6. One unique thing here is if you pick marching band, you have to make sure that you pick concert band as well. They're built in, so you would be counting as 2 selections there. Everything else counts as an individual. So I picked piano, and maybe I took Spanish 1 at the middle school level, and I want to continue on to Spanish 2. So I'm going to pick Spanish 2, and then maybe, I play a sport, and I want to continue to make sure I'm strong, so I'm going to do boys strength training. So now what I want to do is I want to count backwards to make sure that I have 8 classes. So I see I have boys strength training, that's my 1st class. I've got Spanish 2, that's my 2nd. I've got piano 1, that's my 3rd. I've got the combo of health and fitness, that would count as my 4th class. The year-long algebra, which counts as 2 classes, so that's 5 and 6. I've got algebra-based physics as my 7. I've got government as my 8th. And I have a 9th class, English 9. So as I counted back, I caught myself. I've got too many classes. So I can't take out the English, the social studies, the science, or the math. So I'm going to go down here and say, what don't I want to take? Well, maybe I want to get health and fitness out of the way. And maybe Spanish 2, I want to stay with that. So I have to figure out, do I want to drop piano or boys strength training? Well, maybe I'll lift it home. I've got a pretty good plan, so I'll take that off. So what I'm going to do is now I've got the 8. But because I've already identified that I like strength training, I'm going to go ahead and make that my first alternate class. So I'm going to type that in, and that's going to be my first choice as an alternate. And then maybe I go back and I look to see, okay, what other classes do I want? Well, if none of the stuff is available, maybe I'll just go ahead and double up in Spanish as my second alternate in case stuff isn't available. So that was 263. 021, and if at all possible, please try to be careful in making sure the numbers are right because that's how we enter the stuff. So that's my 2 alternates in case something is not available. Sometimes you will find the first alternate is used. It's rare that the second alternate is used, but better safe than sorry, right? And what I'm going to do is I'm going to stop the video right now because we only get about 15 minutes per video. I'm about the 13-minute mark, and I will pick up with part 2 in a second. So I will see you soon.